with the best performing market it's had in 5 years. Ultimately, what we've seen is 40% of suburbs currently in Perth are now sitting or worth more than what they were 12 months ago. So the other thing I'm going to be covering in this live video as well is also going to tell you the top performing areas, regions in capital city Perth. But before we get stuck into it, let me introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tim Guest. I'm Australia's leading financial educator and managing director of Infinite Wealth. I've trained over 18,000 people how to achieve their financial goals, whether they be things like home ownership, travel and lifestyle, or early retirement, using affordable, reliable, tested strategies, but most importantly, teaching them how to do it using only what they currently have available to them right now. Now, of course, we'd love to see your interaction with these videos, so please like, love, angry, question, comment, send me love hearts, all that kind of stuff. We also ask for those of you that are on the social channel where you can share this. If you could please share this with your friends and family, that would be much appreciated as well. This is part of our Just Ask Tim video series. We can get all your questions answered, whether they be related to money, finance, real estate and investing, and of course, stay tuned for our The Wire video series we do every week as well, covering all the top stories happening from the weekend real estate. But like I said, let's get into talking about the Perth market and the incredible performance that it is produced so far this year in 2019. Primarily what I'm going to be detailing is a lot of from the survey from Terry Ryder. Terry is considered pretty much the number one independent property researcher in Australia. He's actually someone that we work quite closely with our clients, just because the integrity and the detailed analysis that he goes into has provided our clients with exceptional insight and when it comes to making their investment decisions. So let me just break it down, what's been happening in the Perth market. So the Perth market is the strongest that we've seen in the past 5 years. We've seen vacancies have dropped. We've seen rising sales activity. We've also seen rents increases. And most importantly, like I said, 40% of suburbs are now sitting, have median prices higher than where they did a year ago. So the recovery is certainly underway. And that's even if it's not showing up in generalised stats or something that you're seeing in the media. You always got to remember in the media, bad news sells. When house prices are up, it's bad news because it's bad for affordability. When house prices are down, it's bad news because the market's down. Yeah, right. So it's important that you really get good sources for your information. So over the past 2 reports, so we're talking the past 2.5, they do quarterly reports over the past 2.5 years, the number of suburbs with growing buyer demand has increased from 0 2.5 years ago to now 53. So one thing you've got to remember is that Perth is rising from a very low base, and that while few suburbs do have the sales activity that we probably would have seen in something like 2012 or 2013, the momentum is certainly in the market, and it's unrecognisable. Okay, so pretty much what we're talking about is the autumn survey records, where we've seen rising sales activity, and this is starting to deliver price growth in some of the markets. When you look at the suburb by suburb analysis, 16 different suburbs that we see in Perth, 85 now have median house prices higher than a year ago. That's 58 of them has risen by less than 5%, and 27 of them have risen by 5% or more. So it's some pretty significant growth in a very short space of time. Now, like I said, that means 40% of house prices are now higher than what they were 12 months ago. Now, many of these leading locations are in upmarket areas. So a couple of the $1 million plus suburbs that I can talk about. We're talking about Claremont, which is up 18% year on year. Ardross 5%, Freo 7%, Floreat 5%, West Leederville 10%. Great results there. But the standout in the $1 million suburbs is Mount Pleasant, which has seen a 26% increase from median house price. $1 million. If we look at the suburbs below the $1 million mark, we can talk about areas like Brabham, that's up 21% over the past 12 months, Kensington 19%, West Perth 16%. So some really strong performers out in the suburbs, particularly in the Perth capital cities there. Now, it's even more optimistic when you start looking at, rather than just median house prices, when you start looking at sales activity. So median house prices can sometimes be a little bit maybe not the best indicator. I think probably one of the best indicators to see how things are moving in a suburb is this increasing sales activity. If you're seeing increasing sales activity in a suburb, that's probably a much better indicator than a median house price. So in terms of those suburbs, 53 suburbs now have higher sales activities than what it's 53 suburbs have growing sales activities. Okay, so if we start to break this down, I'm going to now talk you through probably the top 5 local government areas which are performing at the moment. The Joondalup is probably the market leader. It has 10 suburbs with rising sales, plus 8 with a consistent rating. Small to moderate price growth we've seen occurring in Edgewater, Belden, Connolly, Craigie, Duncraig, Aluka, Kinross, Ocean Reef, Padbury and Sorrento. The northern neighbour to Joondalup, which is Wanneroo, that also will stand out as well. It's got rising market, 6 growth suburbs, and 14 with consistent sales performance. Wanneroo certainly is this new growth area, and we're starting to see a lot of emerging new suburbs that actually make this one of the population growth, and actually make this a national population growth leader. Another local government area, Melville, is performing really well. Obviously in Perth South, it's got 7 growth markets and 7 consistent ones, probably like I mentioned before, the star performer certainly being Mount Pleasant. Stirling is also performing really well at the moment. 5 suburbs have rising markets there, with 15 consistent markets. So we're talking the rising markets like Churchlands, Doubleview, Inglewood, Innaloo, Judana, Scarborough and Shield Hill. They've all recorded uplifts in their median house prices over the past 12 months. Is another area that offers a real attractive level of affordability and has emerged with 5 growth suburbs there. So Bentley median house price $445,000, Ferndale $440,000, Linwood $390,000, Willington $690,000, and Riverton. So all of those are producing growth there. So there certainly seems to be plenty of signs of rising sales activity. Across Perth, we're even looking at Armidale as a local government area. Canning and Swan also have multiple suburbs with rising demand, while Rockingham and Gosnells are also providing some really steady performers there. So, particularly, I know obviously a lot of Perth residents may have been hurting over the past couple of years in terms of their property values, particularly if they're looking at refinance, getting out of interest only, or getting into fixed rates where they competitive deals. So this is some really fantastic news for the Perth market. It's certainly what we've been talking about for a while. I mean, you may remember I did a video about this around about 6 months ago, talking about the recovery and how it had already started. These figures are really starting to come through now. So some great news out there. So guys, hope that's some, brightens your day, okay? Particularly for those of you that own property. And of course, if you're someone who's looking to get into the market, then, there has never been a better time than there is right now. It's never going to be as cheap as it is right now. So time to get moving. Of course, if you think we can help you out, let us know. We're more than happy to help you out, just like we've helped over 4,000 clients invest over $383 million, okay? And we can customer satisfaction ratings. So guys, that pretty much covers our Just Ask Tim video series for today. If you've got a question that you want to get answered, please send it in on one of our social media channels at Infinite Wealth AU, all one word, all lowercase, or you can contact me direct at Tim Guest AU, all one word, all lowercase. Stay tuned for our live video series later on. Please send us your interaction with these videos, and of course, we love it if you share it with your friends and family. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for speaking to you, and I'll talk to you again probably on Thursday.